We were fortunate enough to be able to have a couple minutes to chat on, I think it was Wednesday now. And you guys are like, you're the sleepers. You're like the S4, right? The sedan that is actually a sports car, but you're making waves in videos. So why don't you just maybe tell everybody about who NDN is to start?
The sedan that's sort of a sports car.
Have you ever driven an S4?
I have,
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. We have come out of the gates here in the last year at NDN, growing the scale of the business for sure. I think the scale of NDN is coming about because of our model. We partner with some of the best publishers in the industry, and we syndicate premium direct from broadcast, national and local video content assets and serve as a springboard for that content to these publisher partners. And our model is free. We're software as a service, so we give our video players and our platform to the publishers and take cost out of their model because it's free for them. We are helping to drive the user experience because now the user or reader to these sites does not have to actually leave the page to get premium national and local video site sound and motion for their experience. And then lastly, as we all are proud to celebrate that the CPMs in online video continue to hold their premium nature. And so the monetization that we're able to provide for both the content creator as well as the publisher is significant. So all of these trends from the macro perspective have led our publisher partners to utilize our tools and our players on more pages. They're using a video often to lead stories or even to autonomously tell a story, and often are using more of our players on a page. So this has led to our growth, but size isn't everything.
That's a lie.
There's not a double entendre there, I promise that.
That's not true.
Now we're both blushing a little bit. It's also about the premium experience that the reader is deriving from this, that our content and publisher partners are experiencing, and importantly, as the Chief Revenue Officer, as our advertisers are garnering from the whole platform as well.
So let's talk about local for a minute, because that's actually the first time that's come up in conversation. And news in general, it's crazy. Ever since CES, I've been interviewing a bunch of folks. News has been more and more of a thematic around video and sort of premium content around which to align, right, for the native purposes. Mm-hmm. But when you combine sort of that variable of local to it, it actually feels like you guys may be at a place where you're able to capitalize and start to see dividends from local targeted advertising where others are struggling.
Well, the NDN platform at its heart and soul, of course, is a syndication engine for national direct from broadcast content. However, to your point, we have, over the last year, started to go out and create content partnerships with local broadcast entities, including most recently CBS Local, which builds upon Tribune Broadcasting, and it builds upon Sinclair and Gray and Local LLC and others. And we've become this huge conduit and distribution platform for syndicated local broadcast content. And I can tell you that our publisher partners really like this because we're working with entities that literally have the trucks on the street with the cameras on the ground and the helicopters in the air, and we're getting this content out to our publishers almost in real time. So they're able to get local broadcast content to their readers and users as it's happening, as it were. And while we have these local capabilities, I was listening to David from USA Today and Gannett and USA Today talk about the value of the national proposition, but with the local coverage of content. I couldn't help but think of NDN in that sense too, because we proudly have both. From a sales perspective, however, we're very much a national brand selling force. We really don't get into local market selling per se,
right,
although we have local capabilities.
So when we were having our briefing call on Wednesday, there was this interesting sort of aha moment when we were talking about channels and the construct between premium content and a premium channel, and the sort of value of the advertising inventory or the perceived market value if you have premium content on a non-premium channel versus premium content, wrapped around sort of other like content in general. And you reflected on your personal experiences, and I would kind of love to hear that. And you don't need to name names per se, but just what you've learned.
Yes. Context matters, content matters, it derives an audience that is of premium value. Actually, Rob Norman, my friend who just spoke before me, did a post on that recently, that one of the big things that brands and content creators are getting their heads and the data around now is how they can reach an affluent audience that goes to movies, that is epicurious, that is design forward, that may be an early adopter to technology, that is in the market to buy a car, that is a self-directed investor, that might be a small business owner. These are all very attractive attributes to advertisers, and advertisers will pay a premium for this, especially if they're reaching this person in an editorial environment, in a contextual, dynamic manner that matters to them. And I feel like our model helps to propel all of that in scale in online video. And so we're out as we ad productize what we have to offer. We're very much about maintaining the value of the premium nature of the entire platform, audience, publisher, and content creator.
So, talking about news in particular, we've seen, interestingly enough, like we've seen a lot of innovation with what David Kenny's doing at the Weather Channel and some other, spaces. And it lends itself to kind of programmatic buying around events that are, with certain triggers. But news is also dangerous, right? Because you don't want your inventory running around necessarily around a natural disaster story unless maybe you're selling insurance, right? But if you're trying to sell a luxury good, it might seem a bit in poor taste. How do you how does this sort of the news ecosystem help mitigate risk for advertisers and marketers? Because it seems like a Herculean task.
It is a Herculean task, Ash. No, I'm kidding. I classify news as much broader than that. We have many partners on the content side who are giving us feeds of sports content like Fox Sports and Comcast Sports. We have a huge array of entertainment content creating partners, a bunch of lifestyle partners too. And news is kind of all things to all people. What do you go to your Twitter feed for? What do you often visit portals for? So I feel like, but yes, we would absolutely keep advertisers away from anything that might be damaging to their brand, because our whole platform is meant for CMOs to feel comfortable with shifting money offline and from broadcasting cable into online video. And we want them to feel like the brand safety net is there across every aspect. As a matter of fact, we've acquired a couple of companies over the last year, Mochilla and Inform, and some of the hard-coded software they bring to us is relational and semantic and matching to metadata of text on a page or of video content. And while that can drive relevant content matching of video and text, we can also reverse engineer that to keep advertisers away from topics like Occupy Wall Street, for instance.
Right.